Good morning, or for some of you, it is afternoon. Wait for a couple of you guys here to get on before we start here. Gang, what up? Hopefully everybody's having a great Saturday morning / afternoon. If you guys can, give me a like on your way in. It's always much appreciated. Supposedly helps the channel. All right. So, yeah, what up, Con? About to get into it now. Just waiting for a couple of you guys to come on, doing the old Instagram shout. Some interesting games this week. Kind of excited about this games. A couple high-scoring, fantasy-relevant games. Good morning. All right, well, it might be a little slow this Saturday morning. People are busy. I get it. I kind of let you guys know last minute. I have to be a little more consistent on my times. But welcome, all of you guys that are here today. I'm really happy. I feel like I'm finally an official YouTuber now that I have 1,000 subscribers. It was a lot harder to get than I thought. So I do thank you guys for that support. It's much appreciated. I have something special I'm going to be doing. A lot of you guys know that fantasy football obviously is my passion, but just sports in general and specifically football, NFL, the competition. And if you don't know my backstory, the reason I've been able to go all in fantasy football the last couple of years is because I actually hit the jackpot in DraftKings a couple of years back. I won the big $250,000 win on DraftKings. Unfortunately, I tied, so I only got half of that. But it's still a nice sum of money that allowed me to live freely the last couple of years. So my passion has always been, competing, and I have a knack for predicting things. For those of you who have been with me for a while, you could probably vouch for that. Even last week, I said everybody was high on Jacoby Brissett. I said, guys, temper your expectations. He's going to Kansas City. It's not as good a matchup as you think. Jacoby Brissett, I think, had like 10 or 11 points. So I usually am able to see things that most don't see. Now, I'm not saying I'm always right, but I've had success in the betting world, and now I want to bring that success, and I want to make my passion, my income, my business, and I think that's a great way of doing so. I don't think there's really that many people that are good at predicting or as good as I am at predicting. It's not to boast. It's just based on, what I've seen and what most of you guys seen as well. So I am going to be running a test group. Before forming any business, it's good to do tests to see if this is going to be a viable business. If you guys want to participate in the test group, what I'm going to be doing, it's pretty amazing, really. I'm going to be doing a video just like this, but only in regards to sports betting. So if you guys are bettors out there, if you bet on games, if you do DFS like DraftKings, this is definitely for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video like this. I'm going to explain to you my favorite players. I'm going to show you my lineups, and I'm going to do a detailed breakdown of why I pick these certain players in these certain games with these certain lineups and this certain money spent. I'm going to explain every move. You're going to get my actual lineup. You're going to also get all of my DFS secrets, and not only for DFS, but there's certain games that stand out to me. There's certain lines like, right now, the Jets line, I think, is like 44 points. I think that's pretty low. So I'm going to tell you what my favorite lines to bet on, my favorite games. I'm not going to go every single game because some games I just don't feel confident one way or the other. I'm just going to share with you guys the ones that I would recommend putting your money on. And I don't take your money lightly, and I don't take losing lightly. So if I tell you something, it's because I feel pretty strongly about it. So I'm going to be doing all of that. It's going to be a test group. I'm going to try it out for this week first, see how it goes, and it's only $10. So I'm giving you my secrets, a lineup breakdown, my lineups, and the games or lines that I feel most strongly about. So let me know if you're interested. Just hit me up on IG at fantasyfootballrapper. Like I said, it's $10, or you could just Venmo me $10 at fantasyfootballrapper. Put your IG name, and I'll reach out to you. So now that we got that out the way, guys, let's get into it. Our start sits for Week 6. All right, starting with the Panthers and the Bucs. Interesting game here. It's in London. So it's kind of like the Thursday night games. I take everything, that we see on a regular Sunday and throw it out the window, because London games, as we saw last week between the Raiders and the Chicago Bears, Jacobs went off. The Bears lost. The Bears defense looked terrible. Yeah. So with that said, I don't expect the Carolina defense to be as dominant as they have been recently, even though Minshew kind of did his thing, and so did DJ Shark. So Godwin, and it looks like Carolina might have a little weakness when it comes to defending the slot. DJ Shark, it was unforeseen the day that DJ Shark had. As great as he is, he was going against Bradbury, but the Jacksonville Jaguars did something very, very unexpected, and I don't know why teams don't do it. They moved DJ Shark around. They got their best player the football, and he lined up a career high in the slot that game to avoid Bradbury. So Godwin, another slot receiver, last time he faced Carolina had 26 points. So you imagine Godwin would be a good play. Jameis Winston also said he wants to get the ball to Mike Evans. Mike Evans had a tough matchup last time. Still got 10 points more than the 0 he got last week. So I wouldn't necessarily avoid Mike Evans for Bradbury, considering that he's coming off a donut game. He's probably extra focused. It's in London. Jameis said he needs to get him the ball. So all those things, I think Evans could be a decent play. I don't think it's a boom game for Evan, because they're not going to do what the Jaguars did with DJ Shark and move him around, since Godwin owns the slot. But I do think Evans could still get you about 15 points this game. Talk about predicting things. I didn't even know I predicted this. When I talk, guys, a lot of times I'll go back and view myself, because I'm so in the zone, I don't even know what I say. And then I think one of you guys is on here right now, Michael, said that I predicted the Sony score right. I said he'll have 13 points on my preview, and he had 13 points. So I'm pretty good at predicting. Now, again, some things are unpredictable. I didn't predict DJ Shark going for 30 points last week. I actually said, you probably want to avoid him. But I thought that was interesting. Anyway, so I wouldn't avoid Evans. Godwin's a great start. I think both DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel are great starts. They both had DJ Moore, I think, had almost 18, and Curtis Samuel had 14. So basically, I think this could be a high-scoring game. The Bucs are the most generous against receivers. So, yeah, on the flip side, the Bucs have been awesome at stopping the run. CMC, I think they held them to like 7 points. Not saying that's going to happen again, because CMC could also kill you in the past, but something to worth note. Of course, you're starting CMC, but I just found that interesting, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. Hawks and Browns. This game, I think Russell Wilson is going to struggle. Russell Wilson has been phenomenal, but he's probably out his left tackle, Dwayne Brown, against one of the best pass rushes in the league, and guess what? Looks like Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward have a good shot at playing. So they're going to have this 2 starting cornerbacks back. And their secondary was already doing good. So even without them, they have a really good system in place because of those pass rushers led by Myles Garrett. This is going to be a defensive game. Seattle's got a really good defense, even though they're traveling across the country. OBJ, I've been getting so many OBJ, like, oh, are you starting OBJ or Will Fuller, OBJ or some scrub? Guys, I know he struggled, but he just can't sit OBJ. With that said, he's going against Griffin, probably a top 10 cornerback this year. So the matchup's not good, but, the upside's still worth it. All it takes is one 50-yard bomb or 60-yard, slant like he did against the Jets where he takes it to the house. He's still OBJ. And you still got to play him unless, you have some some crazy Cooper Kupp, Godwin, one of them, DJ Shark, those lineups, which some of you guys have. Because again, if you pick Cooper Kupp in the 4th or 5th round, and then you pick D-Hop in the 1st round, then you got DJ Shark as an undrafted, or a waiver pick, then it's possible that you could sit OBJ. But those are the only type of players, just so you have an idea, I'd be sitting OBJ. Chris Carson, again, because there's offensive line woes, is still a start because he gets so much volume. I still think he could have a decent game. But again, when you're starting, and DJ Fluker is the other starting right guard that's going to be out that game. So I just think this is going to be a defensive game. So it's not a game, for instance, that I'm starting a lot of DFS players. Now, on the flip side, this is a game where you want to start a lot of DFS players, and that's the Texans and the Chiefs. Now, we still don't know if Tyreek Hill is going to play. I'd probably guess he's not. Sammy Watkins looks like he's not going to play. So last week's kind of breakout player, Byron Pringle, is a great start this week, I think, especially some of you guys are hurting because of injuries, because of bye weeks. It's going to be a high-scoring game. The Texans are going to put up points. Watson's on fire. I temper expectations with Will Fuller. Remember, Will Fuller is more of a matchup play. Had the perfect, it was a perfect storm or were they at home or at Atlanta? I don't remember. I think they were at home. But, 14 targets. You're not going to see Will Fuller get 14 targets every week. Usually he averages about 6 to 7 targets, is more of a deep threat. That's going to be harder to do on the road at Kansas City. I think D-Hop's going to get his, train back and rolling. I'm not saying to sit Will Fuller. I'm just saying you're not starting him over studs. I wouldn't start him over OBJ and players like that, or Mike Evans, because a lot of you guys are overplaying the matchup. But again, talent over everything. We saw that with DJ Shark last week. So temper expectations with him. I think D-Hop's a good play. I think Carlos Hyde's a sneaky play because that's Kansas City's main weakness is the stopping the run. So Carlos Hyde, I don't really like his talent, but a game that could feature a lot of points. He could definitely get a cheap touchdown. He could definitely get 80 to 90 rushing yards as well. Atkins, the tight end, he's a dart. Kansas City, bad at stopping a tight end. And being that this game should feature a lot of points, he's a touchdown-dependent dart. And then the Chiefs, Damian Williams. Houston's really good at stopping the run, but really suspect against pass-catching backs. Shady McCoy, he's in the doghouse right now. He had a fumble. He's having issues with pass protections. So Shady McCoy is a definite sit. He's almost getting to the point where he's like waiver trash. I think he will be waiver trash pretty soon here. Darrell Williams might be a sneaky stash for those of you who have deeper benches. Kelsey is Kelsey. Robinson and Hardman, they're darts. I think Byron Pringle is going to be the most consistent receiver there. I think he's going to see the most targets because he's less of a one-trick pony as Hardman, who's more like, the deep threat. They might do some gadget, things with him like they did with Tariq Hill, some end arounds, things like that. And the same thing with Robinson. I think Pringle's the best guy there if Tyreek Hill sits. He might still even be worth a flex even with Tyreek Hill in the lineup because, again, I still think he's the next guy. He's kind of unique in that Hardman is like another Tyreek. Even Demarcus Robinson I wouldn't say he's like Tyreek, but Byron Pringle will probably get the most slot snaps and targets. Skins and Fins, the toilet bowl. Surprisingly, could have some fantasy relevant players here. I think Case Keenum, if you're desperate. Although Bill Callahan said he wanted to focus more on the run, which this could be an AP game. I mean, if not now, then when? He's got a lot of frustration built up. AP's a prideful player, so I do think he's a really good start. But again, I wouldn't start him over. Somebody asked me, should I start AP over Connor? No, because Connor actually has a good matchup too. So Keenum is desperate. He might have a decent floor because it is the Miami Dolphins, and he actually hasn't played that bad, surprisingly. But he's Case Keenum. He started off good in Denver too, and just plus you have a new coach. Jay Gruden, say what you want about him. He's done a good job with quarterbacks. I mean, the guy won with Josh Johnson last year, and they almost made the playoffs. So I think that was kind of like, messed up that they fired him because they really didn't give him any talent to work with. That's a whole nother story. So Keenum and then McLaurin. Love McLaurin. He's got his quarterback back. Every game that, he's played with Case Keenum, McLaurin has had double digits. So, and the matchup is there. Should be a pretty high-scoring game. Despite two bad offenses, I think their defenses are even worse. So, although maybe the Skins, I will say this, sometimes defenses, when there's a new coaching change, they step it up. They're hyped for this new change, and the coach has a lot of play for it. So who knows? I think the Skins are still a decent play defensively. I would still start them, but I also think Miami, it was more turnover prone with Ryan Fitz than they are with Rosen. Drake, bye weeks are here. Drake might be a decent start, but now they're saying they like this kid, Mark Walton. Kalen Ballage is horrible. But probably my favorite Dolphin is Preston Williams. He is going to be seen probably the second corner. Norman will be on Parker. Not that Norman's anything really spectacular these days, but Preston Williams got a huge target share. Seems like there's some chemistry with him and Rosen coming off a bye. So I do like Preston Williams this week as a flex, possible wide receiver 3. Eagles and Vikings, I think this might be another low-scoring game. Although I think, playing at home, everybody's been dogging Kirk Cousins. And being that Philadelphia is very weak at the secondary, very strong at stopping the run, they're probably going to have to throw more than usual. So Dalvin Cook's still a start because he's also a great pass catcher. But I think Kirk Cousins should be able to get 2 touchdowns, which is a pretty good game. So I do think Kirk Cousins, I'd start him over Keenum. I might start him even over Minshew or, some of these other guys. A lot of you guys are desperate. So Kirk Cousins might be a good spots play. I have a feeling Diggs, he's due. Like AP, there's a lot of frustration there. And if not against Philadelphia, who's got the worst secondary, I think Diggs is an excellent start. And I think Thielen is an excellent start as well. Eagles, not really feeling anybody outside the tight ends. Minnesota's really good at top 5, I think, at both stopping the pass and the run. So definitely can't trust their running backs. They really have no receivers. But I do think both Ertz and Goddard could be a sleeper this year. Goddard might be, a dart tight end this week, kind of touchdown dependent, but Minnesota's weakness, that's their one weakness. So I do love Ertz. He's probably my second favorite tight end until another guy we'll discuss later, or besides another guy. Saints and Jags, my man DJ Shark, you're starting him. Lattimore's not shut down. You could say that he shut down Evans, but Evans only had 2 targets. Evans has burned him before. So love DJ Shark, especially since they're making it an emphasis to get him the ball, moving him around, doing what they got to do. And Saints really one of the best. Actually, they give up the 28th least amount of points to running backs. So Fournette, still a start because he gets the volume. He also gets pass work, but they shut down the run. So that means you're probably going to pass a little more. D.D. Westbrook might be even in play, but love me some DJ Shark. Great matchup for him. Saints, there's some issues here because Kamara did not practice on Friday. Now, he usually doesn't miss any games. I don't even know if he has missed a game in his career. But, he's dealing with an ankle, so even if he plays, might be limited. Ramsey, we don't know if he's going to play, but he's back at practice, might be shadowing Michael Thomas, which means this could be a Jared Cook game. Showed a little bit of chemistry, 6 targets last 2 games, had his first touchdown. Sean Payton saying he wants to get him the ball, though we've heard that with Kobe Fleener in the past. But, it's got to go somewhere, right? So, and I think Jaguars, they could be a little susceptible to the tight end, or at least they were last year. Delaney Walker did pretty good against them a couple weeks ago. Noah Fant had his first touchdown against them as well. So Jared Cook is a sleeper. Bengals and Ravens. What can you say about the Bengals? I mean, if you got Mixon, you're probably starting them. Ravens haven't been that great at stopping the run, but the problem is they're going to put up points. And unfortunately, Zach Taylor has been taken out Mixon, or at least subbing him in and out with Giovanni Bernard more than we would have liked. Boyd's a good start. Ravens have been suspect against slot receivers. saw Juju had a nice touchdown against them last week. He's going to get a ton of targets. You know the Ravens are going to put up points, especially at home. So Boyd's an excellent start. Lamar Jackson at home against Cincinnati, the team that Murray rushed for a career high, like 93 yards off 10 rushes. That's like a 100-yard rushing game for Lamar Jackson, especially at home. So love Lamar Jackson. Probably my favorite quarterback this week, even though he's going to be without Marquise Brown. Mark Andrews, he's been banged up all year, but looks like he's going to play. He's an excellent start against Cincinnati as well, especially without Brown. He's going to get a ton of targets. Probably my third favorite tight end. Just thinking off the top of my head, I haven't really, dug in deep. Although Kelsey, probably Kelsey third. Andrews fourth. Falcons and Cards, another fantasy-rich game. A lot of fantasy-relevant players. You're basically starting all your Falcons. Of course, I'm not a big Freeman guy, so you could temper expectations with him. But I think Julio, 2 straight games, single digits. Apparently, he had a hip thing going on this week, but he returned to practice, and they said he looked good. He's always kind of a risk to go down, but you got to love the matchup. Coming off 2 single-digit games, you got to figure Julio is due without, the Cardinals' top 2 corners, even though they've done pretty decent, surprisingly. Not too many receivers have ate him up, even though Tyler Boyd did a number on him last week. A lot of that came off one big play towards the end of the game, that like 50, 60-yard touchdown he had. So Hooper, that's my number 1 tight end. Arizona is abysmal against the tight ends, and Hooper has been amazing even in tough matchups, so you got to figure a quick 20 there for Hooper. But it is fantasy, so being that I said that, watch him get like 8. No. But Hooper's really safe. My favorite tight end, matchup, talent, opportunity, all of that good stuff. Falcons can't stop anybody, so it's going to be a high-scoring game. Those are the games you want to be in. So Hooper's not only a great start, he's a must-start anyway, but also a great DFS play. Cards, love Murray. Outside of Lamar Jackson, he's probably my second favorite quarterback this year because, again, it's the Falcons, and Murray's got the ball. He accounts for like 70 to 80% of the team's plays because if he ain't throwing it, he's running it, and they barely run it with the running back. So Murray is an excellent start. He's one of those players that's trending up. Hopefully Christian Kirk plays this game. He has been back in practice, but I wouldn't count on that. If he does play, he might be limited. Same with Amir Byrd. But, Atlanta's that bad that it really doesn't matter. The Cards are at home. DJ looks like he'll likely play. We don't know if he'll be limited. So Chase Edmonds, even if DJ does play, if DJ doesn't play, Chase Edmonds could be an RB1, top 10 to 15 running back. If DJ does play, then he still might garner flex consideration. He's looked good, high-scoring game. They're kind of down a lot of pass catchers. They like throwing to the running back. So Chase Edmonds has proven he deserves more touches either way. Niners and Rams. This is another one that might be defensive. I'm saying that because obviously the Niners defense has been arguably the best defense, maybe even better than New England, since New England hasn't really played anybody. The Giants, Redskins, Miami, please. Or did it? Yeah, they played Miami. And then you got the Rams. Haven't been so good defensively, but they are at home. The Niners, they put up points, but they haven't exactly looked good. You know what I'm saying? They've done it through the running game. Jimmy G looks more like a game manager. They are down Talib, their best corner. But again, the Niners haven't really done anything with receivers, and the Niners are going to be down 2 offensive linemen, most likely left tackle Joe Staley and McClingley, whatever his name is, and their fullback. So, I expect to see a lot of Breida, a lot of Coleman, hopefully more in the passing game. It's kind of disturbing. I didn't like what I saw out of the Niners front because each running back averaged about 30% of the snaps, like 34 to 36% of the snaps each, 3 ways. Coleman and Breida looked to be splitting every other series, and Mostert was consistently the third down back. Now, is that because this was Coleman's first game back, or is that the new rotation going forward? However, even with 30% of snaps, remember, snaps are a little overrated. doesn't matter how many snaps you get, it matters how many touches. So even though they got 30% of the snaps, Breida, I think, had 11 carries and 3 targets. I think Coleman had 12 carries. Not sure if he had any targets, maybe 1 or 2. So you'd like to see those targets go up because that kind of makes him touchdown dependent or home run dependent, which they did get the last game against the Browns. So Rams could be ran on. And they do have a good system in place, even with those missing, linemen. I think it hurts, but the zone blocking scheme, because look at Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't have a good offensive line, but just because of that zone blocking scheme, it allows Nick Chubb. Now, Nick Chubb is great, but that scheme also, allows him to pick those holes, and he does a great job of doing that. So I do think Coleman is probably the better start, but it's kind of a toss-up. Rams, really tough defense, but the one soft spot the 49ers defense has is against the slot. Guess who plays the slot? The man who's been on fire, Cooper Kupp. So he's a really good start. I think Cooks, this kind of like a gut intuition thing. Cooks is one of those weird players. He does really good when the matchup's really tough. Like he comes up big. He's at home. He should play because he's coming off a concussion. The Niners can be beat deep. Richard Sherman is not the fastest guy in the world. So they can be beat at the deep ball. The problem is most quarterbacks don't have time to sit in the pocket and throw deep because that 49ers front seven is so good. That pass rush is amazing, led by Nick Bosa. So if Goff can get some time, Cooks has the opportunity to beat them deep, but he needs time. Titans and Broncos, another one of those low-scoring, kind of boring games. A.J. Brown has looked pretty good lately. He looks to be building that rapport as Mariota's go-to guy. I probably would assume Chris Harris will be on Corey Davis, so that might give A.J. Brown an opportunity for some points. But again, more of like a dart. Don't really like any Titans other than that. I mean, Derrick Henry, you're starting him, sure. Maybe RB2 here. He's slowed down considerably, like I said he would. I hope you guys sold high when you had a chance, or if you haven't yet, I will work on that. Broncos, love Sutton. The man's on fire. Certain receivers are just hot. You got to ride the wave. DJ Shark, Cooper Kupp, Godwin. I think Sutton has been one of those receivers, super consistent, has a really safe floor, especially Denver's playing at home. Freeman and Lindsey, kind of RB2 flex status. Freeman has surprisingly outsnapped Lindsey. A lot of people don't know this, but Lindsey has done more with the snaps. Obviously, he's the home run hitter, and surprisingly, they've been using him as in the goal line situations, which is kind of weird because he's kind of like their smaller player. But it's working, so not the best matchup. Tennessee's really good at stopping the run, but I also like the fact, teams play better at home. Tennessee has to travel, so I'm not dodging the matchup. But so it's not a great matchup, but it is a little better since it's at home. And then you got the Jets and the Cowboys. I think this might be a scoring game. I think the Jets are going to be pumped. They're playing at home. Dallas, not the same defense on the road. They're going to put up points with Dak Prescott and Gallup and Cooper and Zeke, and Jets are not that good in the secondary or stopping the run. So you're starting all your Cowboys. I think all of them are really good plays. And then I think pretty much all your Jets are good plays. I don't know if Darnold's that great a play. I mean, it's his first game back. Crowder, I think, could be an excellent play. He's going to be a PPR machine as long as he stays healthy. Robbie Anderson has a tougher matchup against Byron Jones, but I don't sit Robbie Anderson. I think a lot of people are sitting Robbie Anderson. A lot of people are thinking about, playing scrubs over Robbie Anderson, and I wouldn't do that. I still think they're going to try to get him the ball. Byron Jones is a good corner, not a shutdown corner, and he's playing on the road. So I think Robbie Anderson's still a good start, but Crowder might be a little better based on the matchup, based on him probably leading the team in targets. Chris Herndon is not there. So that's extra slot and extra targets, slot work and extra targets for what's his name? Jamison Crowder, Bell's obviously a start based on volume alone. So a lot of fantasy relevant players this game. Steelers and Chargers. Probably wondering about Juju. Is he a safe start? I think they're going to push the ball to Juju. I think this guy Hodges, he's an undrafted rookie, but he's got a gun, and he surprisingly looked pretty good. Hopefully Juju doesn't draw too much Casey Hayward, who usually plays the slot, but he does shadow sometimes, so we'll see. But Juju's Juju. I just don't know how much, being that it's on the road, rookie quarterback. He's a risky start, but I'm still playing him. Bye weeks are here, injuries, you probably don't have somebody better than Juju, and it's not where a lot of people thought he had a bad matchup last week against Marlon Humphreys, and he came through for you guys. So I would still start Juju. Because like I said, the undrafted, he might be what he is, but he actually looked pretty decent, and he hit Juju quite a few times late in the game when he came in for Mason Rudolph. Connor's a really good start. Chargers can definitely be had against the run. We saw that Lindsey had a really big game against them last week. And because they're starting an undrafted rookie, he'll probably get even more volume. Samuels is out for a month. We might even see a little bit of Benny Snell, but I expect Connor to have one of his best games, if not his best game of the season this week. And then you got the Chargers. I still like Austin Eckler over Melvin Gordon. Pittsburgh's been pretty good at stopping the run. Melvin Gordon hasn't looked great, and Eckler on the flip side has looked amazing, especially in the passing game. They're going to feed him a lot. Hunter Henry, does he come back? I don't know. He's practicing full. If he does come back, though, I'm hearing he's limited. And I think this could be a Keenan Allen game. Pittsburgh has improved a lot, and Mike Hinton is one of the better slot corners, but there's such a size differential. Keenan Allen's going to tower over him. Mike Hinton's a little guy, and he's going to get a ton of volume. I expect Keenan Allen to have a bounce-back game. And then for our Monday night game, Detroit and the Packers, another one of those games that could be defensive. Green Bay's really hurting right now. Their offense just hasn't gelled this year. I mean, they put up points last week against Dallas because it was simply the Aaron Jones show, which it could be again. Detroit's weakness is against the run. They're really good against the secondary. So MVS, Geronimo Allison, not really feeling that good about it. Especially if MVS got to go against Darius Slay. So I would temper expectations there. He can make up some of that if he gets the volume, but we haven't seen Rodgers, specifically go out of his way to push MVS the ball. So kind of temper expectations there. This could be a Jimmy Graham game. Again, Detroit's really good in the secondary. Probably the softest part of that is against the tight ends. So this could definitely be a Jimmy Graham game. So be on the lookout for that. Some of you guys need tight ends. He might be on your waiver. He's their red zone target. He's actually played pretty good. Led the team in receiving last week, surprisingly. Only 43 yards. That just goes to show, or out of the receivers, I think Aaron Jones had like 80 or 90 yards. But that just goes to show, they just really haven't featured the receivers. So this could be a Jimmy Graham game, at least a decent game. And then Aaron Jones, great matchup. Volume will be there. The talent's obviously there. The system. Aaron Jones, I expect another big game. Should get at least 18 to 25 points pretty easily. Detroit, I like Galladay. All this talk has been made out of the Green Bay secondary. I don't see it. Cooper ate him up. Gallup ate him up. The Green Bay secondary is predicated on the pass rush. That's what makes them good. The two Smiths, Preston Smith and Darius Smith. Alexander, just talk about him being some great corner. I don't see it. Start Gallup with confidence. Marvin Jones, not so much. Absolutely love Kerryon Johnson. Green Bay cannot stop any running back. That's a guaranteed 100 yards, especially since they have been good against the pass, mostly due to secondary, but it is what it is. They're on the road. He's been getting the volume. He's the goal line back. Kerryon Johnson, arguably my number one running back this week, especially since Dalvin Cook going against Philly. Kamara might not play. Zeke might have something to say about that, but between the two, those are my favorite running backs this week. So, guys, that concludes this week's games. If you weren't here when I started the live, I'm doing a special test group. This is a 1-week thing. If it's good, I'll continue to do it. Again, my passion is helping you guys win, and part of that is winning money. And I'm offering one time only my DFS lineups. I've never shown anybody my DFS lineups. because, again, you're kind of competing against me when it comes to that stuff. So I'm going to be showing you my DFS lineups. I'm going to do a video similar to this one, breaking down why I pick certain players and why I, did this particular lineup. Also, DFS tricks, all my secrets, my tips, how to go about forming that DFS lineup and how it varies depending on the game you're playing, and my favorite lines, my favorite games, my favorite spreads for this week. So one example I gave you, I think the Jets, I'm not sure if this is still the line, but they were 11-point underdogs. I think that's a no-brainer. So I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to break down every game because there's some games I don't feel strongly about one way or another, but I'm going to tell you my favorite, the ones I feel confident that you should put your money on. I'm going to be doing that all this week. So the videos, the tips, the lineups, and my favorite games all this week as part of my test group for being here on live, $10 only. Send me a DM on Instagram at fantasyfootballrapper and just put test group on there, and then we'll get it going. Or you can Venmo me $10 at fantasyfootballrapper. Include your Instagram name on there and put test group. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. If you have any questions, as always, just comment down below. And make sure to follow me on social media at Twitter at IMFFRapper, at Instagram at fantasyfootballrappers. Good luck, guys. Until next time. Peace out.